Karen from EdibleWildFood.com here today, and I'm in this beautiful forest to do a video about wild ginger. Now, wild ginger is a perennial plant that grows within moist and shaded woodland areas, and it has to have a lot of rich soil, which this definitely does. Now, there are two main different species of wild ginger. The Asarum canadensis, which grows pretty much on the eastern half of the continent, and then there's Asarum caudatum, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is found on the western part of the continent. Wild ginger, it has heart-shaped leaves and matted green leaves. Now they can get to about 7 inches across. This one here would be maybe 5 inches. So the ones here are actually much younger, and they can get to 12 inches or 30 centimeters off the ground. But again, these aren't quite that tall. So this must be a younger patch of wild ginger. Earlier in the spring, they bear a beautiful flower, and they're not here right now because this is hitting toward the middle of June, end of June. So this is what the flower looks like. Aristolochic acids are a group of acids that are found naturally in many different types of plants, known as aristolochias, which are birthworts and pipevines. And it's also found in wild ginger. Now, plants containing aristolochic acid is sometimes used in herbal products, which are intended to treat a variety of symptoms and diseases. And some of these include arthritis, gout, and inflammation. However, these products have not been approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Aristolochic acid is a phenanthrene alkaloid, which is primarily found in the Aristolochia species of plants. A lot of tongue-twisting words in this involved with this species of plant. Anyway, there can be permanent renal damage as a result of consuming this. Kidney failure is another possible bad effect of this plant. And apparently there were more than 100 cases of aristolochic acid-induced renal diseases that have occurred in Europe. And there have been only a handful, I believe, in the UK and the United States. Now, having said that, let's explore what is it about this that is safe to consume. First of all, let's take a look at the root or the rhizome. This makes a wonderful cup of tea in moderation, and apparently once it has been infused in water, it is somewhat safe to consume. But like I say, in moderation. This is so important. And I've done a lot of reading on this, and apparently infusing this in alcohol or a vinegar is a definite no-no. But let's explore a little bit more. This is actually May 2025, and the video was started June last year. However, better late than never. And at the back of my new property, I found this small patch of wild ginger. Now, to continue on with the video, I came across a study that was conducted on rats. I think it was about 4 years ago, and it was all about the aristolochic acids that I've been mentioning. And from this point on, for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to say AA. So let's assume that all wild gingers in North America contain 0.037% pure AA by weight. This was the highest level tested on the eastern wild ginger. And remember, western wild ginger has lower levels. Having said that, for the sake of this discussion, let's assume the worst. So 2 ounces of wild ginger, which is very little actually, it basically makes about, I guess, a healthy handful, and that would be the root part. It equals 56,699 milligrams. That means it contains roughly 21 milligrams of pure AA. Let's take this further. I'm 6'1", and I weigh 175 pounds, which is about 79 kilos. I would have to eat 790 milligrams of pure AA to get the daily dose that those rats were given in order to get a plethora of health problems. Simply stated, I'd have to eat about 4.5 pounds of wild ginger to get that daily dose. And those rats were given roughly that amount over a period of 3 to 12 months. Now, I'm not saying that means we can run out there and eat all the wild ginger until we're full, because this was based on only one study. And one thing I've learned for sure over the years, never trust one study. Always, always do your homework. And until such time I can feast on more research, my recommendation is to have only a cup of tea on occasion, and only after you've done the universal test to ensure you're not going to have any problems with it. Link to that is below. Now the big question is, does the AA bioaccumulate forever? I can't find any information on that whatsoever. And if anyone out there is aware of any information on the bioaccumulation of AAs in our bodies, I would love to hear from you. Oh, and another thing that's very important. If you're pregnant or nursing, or if you have kidney issues, never consume this, ever. Now, before I found that patch of ginger way back there, I actually went out to Richter's and bought myself 3 wild ginger plants, which I'm going to put right here. And at this point, I want to thank everybody for watching this video right to the very end. I appreciate your support. And again, thank you for watching.